In the heart of the ancient deserts, where the stars burn like 1,000 diamonds scattered upon a velvet cloth, a story unfolds. A tale spun from the threads of fate, mercy and magic, a tale from the 1,001 Nights. Our story begins with a wealthy merchant, a man whose caravans crisscross the golden dunes like veins of life upon the vast, empty canvas of the world. He was a good man, respected and prosperous, journeying home with treasures from distant lands, his heart full of thoughts of his wife and children. One sweltering afternoon, as the sun hung high and merciless in the sky, he sought refuge in the sparse shade of a lonely palm tree. To quench his thirst and hunger, he unpacked a pouch of dates, sweet and sticky from the desert heat. As he ate, he casually tossed the date pits aside, one after another, thinking nothing of the simple act. But fate, my friends, is a weaver of intricate patterns. One of these pits, thrown with an idle flick of the wrist, flew true and struck an unseen being. In that very instant, a life was extinguished. The life of the son of a powerful Ifrit, a demon of immense strength and fury, who had been resting invisibly nearby. A tremor shook the sand, and the air grew cold. A colossal shadow fell over the merchant, eclipsing the sun. From the swirling dust and wind, the Ifrit materialized, its eyes burning with the fire of vengeance, a terrifying scimitar clutched in its hand. "You have taken the life of my son," the demon roared, its voice like the grinding of mountains, "and for that you shall pay with your own." The merchant, trembling with a fear that froze the very marrow in his bones, fell to his knees. He was a man of commerce, not conflict. He pleaded, his voice a desperate whisper against the demon's rage. "O mighty Ifrit, it was an accident. I swear upon all that is holy I did not see your son. I am a father myself, with a wife and children who await my return. Grant me 1 year to settle my affairs, to say my farewells, and I shall return to this very spot to accept my fate." The demon, though consumed by grief, was bound by an ancient code of honor. A solemn oath once given must be respected. "Swear it," the Ifrit commanded. "And if you break your vow, my curse will find you wherever you may hide." The merchant swore the oath, and with a gust of hot wind, the Ifrit vanished, leaving the man alone, his heart a heavy stone in his chest. The year passed like a fleeting dream. The merchant returned home, a shadow of his former self. He paid his debts, distributed his wealth, and confessed his terrible predicament to his family. Amidst tears and sorrow, he prepared for his final journey. True to his word, on the appointed day, he rode back to the oasis, ready to face his doom. He sat beneath the same palm tree, awaiting the Ifrit's return, his soul filled with despair. But as he waited, a figure emerged from the shimmering heat haze, an old man, his face a map of countless years, leading a graceful gazelle. "What troubles you so, brother, in this desolate place?" the old man asked, his voice kind and calm. The merchant recounted his tragic story, from the carelessly thrown date pit to the solemn vow he had made. The old man listened intently, his eyes filled with a strange wisdom. "A truly astonishing tale," he said. "I shall stay and witness what transpires between you and this Ifrit. And I shall tell him a story of my own, the story of this gazelle. Perhaps it will move his heart." As he finished speaking, another traveler appeared, a second old man, flanked by 2 loyal black hounds. He too inquired about the merchant's sorrow, and upon hearing the tale, was equally astounded. "Your story is incredible," he declared. "I too will remain. When the Ifrit arrives, I shall share the tale of these 2 dogs, my own brothers, and hope to earn a portion of your life." Just then, a third old man, leading a mule, joined the small assembly. He listened to the merchant's plight with the same rapt attention. Moved by the extraordinary circumstances, he vowed to stay as well. "I will not leave you," he promised. I shall offer my own story to the Ifrit, and perhaps, through our combined efforts, we can save you from this terrible fate." As the sun began to dip below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple, the ground trembled once more. The Ifrit appeared, sword in hand, ready to claim his due. But instead of a single, terrified merchant, he found 4 men, waiting with a strange mixture of fear and resolve. The first old man stepped forward, bowing respectfully. "O great Ifrit, king of the Jinn," he began, "I have a story to tell, a story more wondrous than you can imagine. If you find it so, will you grant me 1/3 of this merchant's life?" The Ifrit, intrigued despite his anger, agreed. And so the old man told the tale of the gazelle, who was not a gazelle at all, but his own cousin and wife, transformed by an evil spell born of jealousy. He spoke of betrayal and black magic, of his quest to find a cure, and of the unwavering loyalty he held in his heart. His story was a tapestry of love and sorrow, and the Ifrit listened, his fiery eyes softening just a fraction. When the tale was done, the Ifrit, moved by the old man's plight, declared, "That is a truly remarkable story. I grant you 1/3 of this man's transgression." Then the second old man, the one with the 2 black hounds, stepped up. "O mighty Ifrit," he said, "my story is stranger still. If you agree, I ask for another 1/3 of this merchant's life." The Ifrit nodded, and the man began to speak. He told of his 2 brothers, the very dogs at his side, who, driven by greed, had tried to kill him and steal his fortune. He spoke of how they had thrown him overboard at sea, and how he was saved by his own wife, who was secretly a genie. She had turned his treacherous brothers into dogs as punishment, and he, in his mercy, could not bring himself to abandon them. It was a story of avarice and forgiveness, of bonds broken and remade. The Ifrit was captivated. The themes of betrayal and mercy resonated with his own grief. "Your tale is indeed astonishing," he conceded. "I grant you another 1/3 of this merchant's life." Now only 1/3 of the merchant's guilt remained. The third old man approached the demon. "My story," he began, "will surpass them both. If it does, I ask that you forgive this man's debt entirely." He spoke of his wife, who had been unfaithful, and who had used her knowledge of sorcery to turn him into a dog. He told of his daughter, who recognized him in his cursed form, and with her own powerful magic, battled her mother to break the spell. The fight was terrible, and though his daughter triumphed, his wife was turned to ash, and his daughter was left afflicted by the lingering dark magic. The mule he led was, in fact, his cursed wife from another time. It was a story of dark magic, filial devotion, and the terrible price of wickedness. As the third tale concluded, the first light of dawn broke across the desert, bathing the dunes in a soft, hopeful glow. The Ifrit stood in silence, the stories of the 3 old men echoing in his mind. He saw in their tales of magic, betrayal, and forgiveness a reflection of his own pain, but also a path beyond it. Mercy, he realized, was a magic more powerful than any curse. He looked at the merchant, no longer with burning hatred, but with a profound sense of shared experience. The weight of his own grief had been lessened by the weight of others. He lowered his great scimitar. "You are free," the Ifrit said, his voice now a low, rumbling whisper. "These men, with their stories, have paid your debt. Go and live." And with those words, the great demon dissolved into a column of smoke, vanishing into the morning air. The merchant, overwhelmed with gratitude, fell to the ground and gave thanks to the heavens and to the 3 wise old men who had saved him. They had met as strangers, bound by a thread of fate, and through the power of a story had turned vengeance into mercy. And thus ends the first tale of the 1,000 Nights and a Night, a reminder that even in the darkest of moments, a single story can be the dawn that saves a life. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, And subscribe to our channel for more tales from the heart of the Arabian Nights. Until next time, may your nights be filled with wonder.